gonna be a long video, but full of value. I don't want to hold back on value. The idea is that you learn these tools and try to apply them for yourself. And whoever wants guidance in the process can schedule a free one-on-one call with me. But the idea is that regardless of us working together, you can get value from this video. So grab pen and paper and a cup of whatever your beverage of choice is, and enjoy and learn. So okay guys, so some of the tools, because it's not the only tools, but the ones I shared with you on the ad are the ones I think are like indispensable to have, or the ones I see can make the bigger shift in your life. The first one is presence. Presence is a big one for me. I discovered presence until I was 21 years old, believe it or not. My dad taught me that we were always thinking as humans, and I thought that to be true. I certainly had been thinking constantly until I was 21, and I thought what my dad was telling me was true, but I read a book when I was 21, and it created a before and after in my life, because for the first time I realized I could live through being and not only through thought. And it was a big realization for me, the biggest one I have had in my life. And it led to a couple of years where I was kind of like lost a little bit, because everything I thought I was, all my life story, my ego, if we say that ego is what you think yourself to be, right? Like the life story that we tell ourselves of ourselves. It's not that it was a lie, but I realized it was a story, and that I could also be able to live without this story repeating itself, and that I could live with my mind being quiet, and my senses started to sharpen, and I just started like changing my way of being way quicker. My software started updating way quicker as well. So presence, why I think it's a very powerful tool, and maybe one that is not, you would think people don't talk about it that much, but all the Eastern philosophy was based on spirituality, meditation, and I think for a reason. And also, if you see top performers like Djokovic, Federer, chess masters, every time I see more and more across the board how all of these people understand presence, focus, and meditation, for example, as very powerful tools on their journey. So one of the reasons why I think is very important, and I'm going to share this with you so you take it seriously, assuming this align with your beliefs and assuming you think this to be true. But one of the reasons why is because it will make everything else align. And what I mean with this is, so to give you an example, I did a 10-day silence meditation retreat. We meditated 10 hours a day. We would meditate 1.5 hours, then a 10-minute break, 5-minute break, then another hour, then a 5-minute break, then breakfast, and so on along the day. And I did it for me as an experiment with myself, because I had meditated before and I wanted to see what it gave to me. And of course, I've never had so few thoughts on a week in my life, and I don't think I would unless I do another retreat. But I reached a level of peace, a level of clarity, a level of joy, joy, because happiness is more related like to pleasure. Joy is more sustainable, you could say, that I had never felt before. And also, it's not that I wasn't motivated to do anything. I was actually as motivated as I have ever been. And everything in me was so aligned. Like my thoughts and my dreams even were becoming purer and purer and purer through each day. And I was so clear in what my purpose was, in how I wanted to live my life. Each day I felt less attached to anything, to an identity, to a past crave that I've had, or like it was no sugar, even no meat. It was like a very back to basics week, and I just felt like everything aligned there. My mind was so aligned. And even before that, I mean, one of the reasons why I did was that because for 9 years, this presence has been a big aspect of my life. Of course, I don't plan on going into a monastery and live there. I plan to use it to build cool stuff and live a nice life with what I value, which is love, adventure, helping people out, and health, and company as well. And so yeah, I use it for that. But it's incredible how much it can help in every aspect of your life, because clarity is the word. It will give you a lot of clarity. So for example, I think it's a good practice to plan your day after you meditate. So you are planning it from a blank slate, from a new self, and not carrying past beliefs, past fears, or unconsciousness, or unconscious responses. You can create and not react. It will help you also because you will be able, by you being able to observe your thoughts and not thinking you are your thoughts, because this is the thing, your mind is a tool. It was meant to be a tool. But if you can't control the tool, someone who is anxious is not able to control the tool, is being run by the tool. And that's addictive thinking. What's the meaning of addiction? Is something you can't control. And I'm not saying thinking is bad. I'm saying addictive thinking is bad. You want to be able to be fully present when you're eating, when you're having sex, when you're running, when you're creating something, when you're, when you want to just enjoy the sun. Also, you're going to be way happier because you're going to learn to naturally enjoy way more the small things, because they will feel big. And they will fill you, because your biology is designed to be filled with very little. So you will be able to also, by not thinking you are your thoughts, but knowing it's a tool and being able to observe them, if you create this space, you will also be able to observe when negative thoughts come, or when negative judgments come, or when beliefs that don't serve you come. This ties to the second tool, which is transforming and reshaping and resignifying your beliefs, but you will see it soon. How we're doing in time? We're doing good. Kind of, but kind of doing good. Also, it will improve your concentration. The reason why you and most people, me, have short attention span is because we have trained ourselves to have short attention span. We moved from the fields to factories, to YouTube, to Facebook, to Instagram, to TikTok, and each time our attention span got shortened. Now the average attention span of a human is 5 seconds. It used to be 30 something. The average attention span of a goldfish is 6 seconds. So how do you train yourself to have more focus? By meditating and by controlling your mind and observing your thoughts and letting them go. I can help you out with presence and meditation. But yeah, basically it's a practice, it's an exercise, a mental exercise to practice your focus, and the best way is through learning to meditate. Also, if you're truly present, you will start enjoying without you having to hype yourself up, without you having to create a hope in your mind. Because if you create a hope in your mind, yes, it lights you up. Or if you think about things you want to think, yes, you can light yourself up, but it's not sustainable. Here we're talking like without you having to think, and you feeling, by feeling, you can start enjoying as well. You can enjoy the sun, you can enjoy a glass of water, you can enjoy touch, you can enjoy so many different things. And if you start enjoying more the little things, naturally, you will not want to escape. You won't need sugar, you won't need alcohol, drugs, or TikTok to get to a level of fulfillment. This level of fulfillment will be there already. You can get to there. I can guarantee you. I have been there. And my clients as well. Also, it's going to be easier to be patient, because of the same reason. So overall, it has a very strong impact in your joy and your happiness. The most out of these three, I think. Well, the third one is connected to this one. So meditation, so how to do it? Learn to meditate. It's very easy. Observe your respiration. Sit for 15 minutes at least daily. It's easy. It's simple, but it's not easy because a lot of thoughts come to your mind and your ego wants to hold itself. It doesn't really want to let go because it's there to protect you. It, like your identity and your life story is there to protect you. And it makes sense on an evolutionary standpoint, but it doesn't make that much sense now. And if you're not living the life that you want, or if you're not happy, or you're not fulfilled, or you're stressed, or you're anxious, then you need to make adjustments because obviously it's not being good for your body and for others around you. Another thing you can do is recurring self-checkups. Set an alarm every hour to ask yourself how you're doing. So you start becoming more aware, and you set an alarm every hour or every 2 hours to remind yourself to breathe and to connect and to quiet your mind for a bit. This makes a huge impact in the rest of your day. Another thing you can do is, when it is easy, observe your thoughts and be on a meditative state. So you're better prepared for when things get tough. Let's say, meditate in the morning when it's easy, when it's quiet, and then wash your teeth, wash dishes on a meditative state. So you're more prepared, so when you have a meeting, you have more of a buffer between your mind and your consciousness. How I help clients with this when we have sessions one-to-one, I guide them through meditations because at first it can be hard for clients to even be able to connect with presence. It's incredible how a lot of people can't spend not even 15 seconds being present. So I help them until they are able to sit in presence, and then we discuss which thoughts or beliefs are preventing them to be present, because a lot of thoughts come and a lot of beliefs come when you're trying to be present. Things that you have to think about this, or that this thought will go away, or that you're losing time. Like, a lot of beliefs and things come up. So it helps to discuss those in coaching, so we can create a different plan for each, and we can discuss these beliefs and help them on this journey. So yeah, depending on what each is going through, we will plan a different presence exercise plan, literally, to merge presence with their life. The second one is resignifying beliefs. This is a big one because on one hand we have presence, and on the other hand we have the unconscious mind, which is going to be there anyways. Like, it's impossible to say that you're going to get rid of your unconscious for your ego. So what we want is to make a mix between presence, which is egoless, which is no self, and a positive, loving, curious, compassive, bold ego. And this is going to be able, and we're going to be able to shape this if we align your beliefs, because most probably either you have limiting beliefs or you have contrary beliefs. What is a contrary belief? Let's say you want to make money for yourself and for your family. But when you're unconscious, like when you're working on your project, or when you're like thinking about maybe making some more money somehow, there's underlying beliefs. Each one has their different contrary or limiting beliefs. But for an example, you might think money will make you greedy, or money will make you too busy, or money will separate you from people, or money will bring trouble, or and you're not that conscious about them, but you tell yourself certain things on the inside, and they generate a feeling, and this feeling ends up expressing as fear or as doubt, and naturally you don't end up acting fully on what you would need to do in order to get money. And that's how it works with relationships. That's how it works with health. That's how it works with you following your art career, or your art, or being an athlete, or whatever creative journey you're on. Like, everything is shaped by your beliefs, and that's why this is very, very powerful, because like it's very mainstream on social media and everything to show you how to change things so you can have a different outcome. But for you to be able to act differently and stick with acting differently, you before need to feel differently, and you need to think about this differently. You need to do a deep transformational change in yourself, in your identity, so you can act constantly differently. And it's going to be easier. That's the good news. Is once you change your system of beliefs and once you change your being and your identity, it's way easier to act differently. It doesn't feel like discipline anymore. Mike Tyson would say, do what you hate as if you loved it. And one of the ways of doing it is by reframing your beliefs. So, also because your current beliefs have been implanted not with malice, but they have been implanted by your society, by your family, by your friends, by social media, by everyone. And you have absorbed unconsciously, or at first maybe consciously, but maybe you were a kid, or maybe you just didn't know better, and now you have these unconscious beliefs that are running your life. Because it's like a funnel. Consciousness is on top, and everything passes at one point through consciousness. But once you made it conscious and you created a certain belief, it just like stays in your unconscious in the bottom, and you constantly daily react from this unconsciousness. It's not passing through the conscious anymore. So what we do and what I do with coaching is, I studied for more than 2 years, and with the ICF, International Coaching Federation, which is the highest standard of coaching in the world, I studied ontological coaching. Onto is being, ontology, the science of the being, and ontological coaching is using what we know about the being to help people change their being. And we do it by changing their beliefs and by changing the different like realms that create our being, which are inner and outer language, emotions, and our body. So we question these unconscious beliefs and we bring them up to consciousness. We adjust what we need to adjust. Sometimes it's to create a completely different belief, but it happens naturally as well, because let's say you have this belief that this bridge can't be crossed. Let's say there's fog and you can't see at the end of the bridge, and you just think it can't be crossed. Your family told you it can't be crossed. Your neighbors told you it can't be crossed, so you won't even try. You don't think it can be crossed, so you won't even try. But then 2 friends come and they tell you, hey, it can be crossed. Like, we just crossed it. And there's nothing other than fog. Like, we have seen the other side. Just by you knowing this, like, you don't have to like force yourself into thinking that now you can cross it. Now you think it's doable, and now you do it, you know? And that's the same with everything. That's why who you surround yourself with is so important. That's why the fastest way of becoming a millionaire is hanging out with millionaires, or the fastest way of having a healthy relationship is like being in contact with healthy relationships as a role model, like either your parents or your friends' parents or whatever, you know, like because it will determine what you will think to be possible. And so going back to the contrary beliefs, what we do is we align all the beliefs in the same direction, the direction you want. Like, I won't tell you, that's the cool thing about this process, about ontological coaching, is I don't tell you what you should do. I question you, and you come with whatever you want for yourself, and we just question all the beliefs that stand in the way. But this happens at a deep level. Can you do this for yourself? Yes and no. Yes, you can. You can ask ChatGPT about ontological coaching, and maybe you can Google it up, and you can like this is literally the process. But the thing is, if you don't have a different perspective, if you don't have someone questioning you and someone catching you to see if you're fooling yourself or trying to fool me unconsciously because you want to protect a certain belief, then it can be hard. It can be hard to do it on yourself. The same way, if you ask something to ChatGPT, it will kind of like answer you kind of what you input them, you know? But then if you ask from a different perspective, it will give you a different answer. So you kind of need someone outside to help you get to a different point. Because there's a thing called cognitive blindness, which is, you know the things that you know. You also know things that you don't know. This is not blindness. Like, you know this, I know these things, I don't know these things. But also, cognitive blindness starts when you don't know things that you know. It's in your wisdom already. It's down deep there, but you haven't been able to connect with them. And also, there's things you don't know that you don't know. So someone else, through a framework, can help you connect with the things that you don't know that you know, and the things you don't know that you don't know. So yeah. But you can do it. What you can do for yourself is try to go back to any moment where you have been feeling stuck, or any moment of fear that you've had in any particular, like, try to narrow it down to one situation and try to visualize who you were being at that moment. What were you thinking? What were you telling yourself? How were you feeling? And try to question what you were telling to yourself in that moment. Write it down and then question if that is true. We do that a lot on coaching. It helps to have someone else, but we do that a lot in coaching, and we start questioning these beliefs and these judgments through a lot of questions, like, give me facts. Who are you comparing yourself with? Who told you? Like, are you sure that's true? Could it be also this or this maybe? And we start to see which judgments are true or not. Some of them are, and maybe we just need to act differently in order to change it. But why haven't we been acting differently? Maybe there's another belief. By the way, how is different coaching, or at least ontological coaching, from therapy? Therapy focuses on traumas, on mental diseases, and a lot like on the past and everything. Coaching doesn't really. Coaching just like analyzes your beliefs in the present and your being in the present. Well, and also in the past, like how you have been behaving emotionally, mentally, inner and outer, and in your body. And we dig down to transform beliefs, and we create new beliefs that kind of happen naturally, but also like we make sure we create the best possible real belief. We're not faking anything. Like, we just choose a different belief that's going to support what you want, and we create a plan so you can make it a habit, and you can start following the path and identifying more with that path. So lastly, conscious action. This is kind of where everything merges, which is learning to be conscious while you're doing things, each time more and more. And how does this look? This looks, let's say, I'm gonna talk for myself. Let's say I'm preparing something for coaching, and I'm writing down things, and I'm doing investigation, and I'm like setting something up. I would be present first. I would be present along the way. I would be observing my mind while I'm working. I would be observing my thoughts to make sure my mind is working in a logical way. And I would be aware. So first, that it is working in a logical way, and it's on problem solving mode. We're solving a problem, we're being logical, we're thinking the next steps. I'm using it as a tool, but I'm aware at the same time. Since I'm observing it, I can see if a negative thought comes, if a fear comes, and if it comes, I can see it in my body, and I can see it as if it was a dash light on your car's dash, lighting up, and I can see, okay, what is this telling me? Okay, this fear comes because of this. Okay, but I already analyzed this, and this is not the belief that it's going to help me through this. So okay, so I let it go, and I breathe, and I connect to my body, and I continue working. And then I take a break, and this break is sitting in silence, is walking, is feeling the sun, is playing with my dog, and then I come back, for example. And you apply that, if you apply that to running, to exercising, to feeling your partner, to everything, you're assured to have a great life from day one, because that's what we're trying to do here. Like, we're trying to create a balanced, fulfilling life that mainly it's successful on the inside, and secondly, it's successful on the outside. The outside will follow the inside. But a lot of people, like, of course you can be a millionaire and you can be famous. I don't know, oh, sorry for the sound. So of course you can be a millionaire or you can be famous by sacrificing the inside, but that's not what we want. We want a sustainable, well-rounded life where we're thriving in every aspect that it's important to each. If health is not important for you, then let's focus on the other areas where you are interested in. But whatever it's important for you, but yeah. So, because what you ultimately want is to be able to focus deeply on what you're doing, connected fully with your senses. Sometimes it's your mind if you're solving a problem, but if you're I don't know, if you're fixing a car, if you're doing gardening, it can be a mix between your logical mind and your hands and your smell and your hearing, and also you could start creating a feedback loop where you don't blame yourself, you don't feel guilt or you don't feel shame if you make a mistake, but you simply adjust and repeat. So in sessions, depending on your life, we visualize scenarios and we plan ahead to make sure we grow in conscious action. We analyze what is holding you back from being able to connect with conscious action, and we adjust your routine. So we ran out of battery, but we're almost done. So what do we do in sessions to help you out with conscious action is also seeing mainly what is preventing you to be able to connect with conscious action, like which recurring thoughts come, what beliefs do you have in the moment. Like it's a lot to analyze what happens at that specific moment until we are able to do it. But of course you can practice for yourself. And yeah, we will adjust your routine to allow for it as well, because depending on your day, on your activities, if you have family or not, of your work, or if you work at home, or like there's different things you can adjust in your daily routine to create more flow states. Conscious action is flow state. That's another way of saying it. And another tool, a last one, visualization is very strong as well. It's very powerful as well. This enters in the second one, in the creating new beliefs. Something we do as well in sessions is we create a visualization of this new being, of this new identity. Once we have reshaped the belief, this new belief, we start visualizing how does it feel, and we start like embodying this new belief, and we start creating scenarios of how it looks with detail, how it looks to act with this belief, to walk with this belief, to talk with this belief. And so you start training yourself to be this person, and eventually that's kind of like the fake it until you make it. It can also be, as a friend said, a vibe it until you materialize it. And eventually, after, like, I can tell you for myself, now I am very close to what I once imagined I wanted to be, like in the inside. It doesn't have to do with, well, maybe a little bit with how it look on the outside, but it's mainly on the inside. So yeah, guys, I hope you got value from this. I really hope you do. As everything is practice, but don't forget to enjoy the game. Remember, this is a game. Life is a game, a beautiful game. Your possibility of being born, like the atomic possibility of you being born is 1 into 4.3 quadrillion. That's the equivalent of, because that's not the amount of sperm, and that's like the general universal possibility of it happening for you or for me is 1 in 4.3 quadrillion. That's the equivalent of winning the lottery. Like I read it, I think it's like 1.5 million times. So let's be grateful. Let's not forget this is a game. Sometimes a hard one, sometimes an easy one. Also, the harder it is, also the more enjoyment it can bring, and also like the more spice it has to it. In the end, we're writing a book of our lives. Let's make it an awesome book. Let's not sleep through life. Let's get to our deathbed and be like, it was a hell of a ride. I got goosebumps. I just remember Travis Pastrana, the rally racer, and the creator of Nitro Circus and the X Games winner. He went out of the road on a rally race, and he flipped 7.5 times. And you can see the car, that like the camera on the inside of the car, they're just like his co-pilot are just like holding to it and just going around and around. And in the end, he just like the car stops and he asks the co-pilot, "Are you okay?" And the co-pilot is like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Woo! That was a hell of a ride." And that's what we want. Like, let's create a hell of a ride. Let's not create trashes. Let's avoid pain, of course. Let's not learn through mistake always. Like, there's other ways of learning, but let's enjoy the whole race, because what's the point? Like, it's not like a race in the sense that the finish line is winning. Here the finish line is when it's over, and we don't want to wait until that to be happy and to enjoy. We want to enjoy every second of this beautiful song, you know? So yeah, if you want us to work together, I would be happy to help you. You will see a link to book a free call. It won't be a full session, but it will allow us to talk and to see what you're going through and to see some of these judgments, hopefully give you some clarity, and yeah, and we can go from there. And if not, in the near future, I want to start making content. But for now, I'm gonna still help one-on-one mostly, and then I'm gonna start creating like more content, so everyone can benefit from it. So yeah, leave me your email, because I don't use social media much. I will in the future, but not for now. So leave your email. I will like leave a thing for you to leave your email as well, in case you wanna stay updated. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the game. Thank you, fellow players, and see you soon.